G'day, thanks for coming along to this second video. This is a continuation of this tutorial that I posted a couple of days ago. I'll probably update the name of this, but yeah, this is part one. In part one, we built this. We built an agent that's aware when it doesn't know the answer to a question, and it logs the missing knowledge item into a table, and it alerts a user and creates an action item on the dashboard and stuff. So in this one, we're going to work on this. So we're going to create a task agent. Task agent is a special type of agent, so you get to learn about a new type of agent, one that doesn't interact with customers, but it interacts with a schedule in this case, or just basically it receives a single command and it does its very best to execute everything it needs to execute in that one request. So it can't ask clarifying questions because often there is not a user there. So we're going to create the task agent and we're going to give it two abilities. One is to fetch missing knowledge and the second is to email a report. And then we're going to test it. And then once it's all working correctly, we'll create the schedule. Let's recap. We have a table of missing knowledge. We've got one item in there at the moment that's unresolved. So this needs attention. And so what we want is to have an agent autonomously looking for these items and notifying an administrator so they can come in here and fix it. So we create the abilities to start with. So I'm going to create an ability called fetch missing knowledge. And we'll just put that in admin. So at any point in the conversation, when the user agent would like to fetch missing knowledge, that's good enough because what we're going to be saying to the agent is, please fetch missing knowledge. So it's, I want it, and the agent obviously wants to do it. So that's going to work well. We can't require confirmation because it's a system agent. It wouldn't be able to ask for confirmation. It would just go and do it. And we're going to add a step. We use the Occamise API to interact with all components of the Occamise solution, including reading from tables and creating tables and so on. So we're going to start with obviously fetching table records from missing knowledge, and I can hit save. So right now, with all these values set to AI generated, the agent itself is going to populate all the filters. And so when I say, if I said to the agent, please fetch missing knowledge, it's likely that it would filter based on nothing really at all, just everything in the table. But if I said to the agent, fetch missing knowledge, fetch unresolved missing knowledge, the agent's aware of the table structure, so it knows that it has a column called resolved, and it's a Boolean, and so it would apply an appropriate filter. But when it's a situation like this, and you know that you just want everything where resolved is false, you don't need to leave it up to the agent to generate the parameter. You can just make it a static value, and you certainly should. So I'll just do that right now. So we're going to make this static. So a filter is an array. So an array of objects, okay, and they must contain the following keys. So column name, obviously that's going to have quotes, and it's going to have an operator, and it's going to have value. So that's kind of the structure. And if you're unsure, then you can simply leave it as AI generated and go and talk to an agent and say, can you fetch missing knowledge, please, and see, fetch unresolved missing knowledge, and just see exactly how it does it. But I know, obviously, through experience that this is how you do it. So column name, we need to find that column. So let's go to tables, missing knowledge. It is this column, resolved. So I'm going to grab that name. That's resolved, operator equals, and value is, now it's a Boolean, so I suppose I could do 0 or I could do false. So I'll just do false and save changes. And then we can just leave everything else as static as well. We want all columns, so I'm going to leave that empty. We want to order by, let's order by the date it was added. And let's order it in descending order, and we'll just grab 10. Like if there was hundreds of them, we don't want to be emailing that every day. So we'll just grab 10 and we'll start at offset 0. So basically I've made every single parameter static now. The agent's not responsible for filling in anything. So it's not actually fetch missing knowledge now. It's fetch unresolved missing knowledge to be perfectly accurate, right? Which isn't that important. But I kind of like, if an ability's got a very, very specific focus, then I kind of like to fix up my naming. So we'll say fetch unresolved missing knowledge. At any point in the conversation, when the user or agent would like to fetch unresolved missing knowledge. Okay, that's good enough. Now, the other ability is going to be to send an email. So we'll quickly do that. Send missing knowledge report. And when the user or agent would like to send missing knowledge report, that should be fine. Add a step. Now, you can send an email through Office 365 or Gmail, but also Occamise has a utility function for it called send email. So it's a system email. It's always going to come from Occamise. So it's going to be always from info@occamise.com. But you can just go ahead and do that. I'm going to just say that it should go to me. And the subject should always be missing knowledge in Occamise. And the body we will leave as AI generated. And we will say we don't want any attachments. So for the body, I can just leave this empty HTML body of the email. It should be able to figure out what I want in there, or I can specify that in my initial request. But I will give it a little bit of prompting as to what I want. So I can basically just say, and email the missing knowledge report, and it'll know what the body should be. So hopefully that makes sense. So use basic HTML, provide a friendly greeting, and note that there is missing knowledge in Occamise. List each of the questions associated with the missing knowledge. End by saying thanks from Team Occamise. That'll do. Save changes. Okay, so we can tune that as needed as we test it. So now we've got the two abilities that this agent needs. Let's go and create the task agent. So I come over here and I'm going to call this guy task guy. All right, so we make this one a agent that will communicate primarily with software and systems. It has to be for a scheduled task. And then for the agent persona, I'd leave this as unspecified for one of these sorts of agents. What this does is just add a little bit more prompting from Occamise for every request, and it sort of controls the persona and somewhat the behavior of the agent. So if you want just completely clean, where it's not going to have any particular personality or any other sort of prompting, just leave that as unspecified. And then pick an image. We'll go with the old guy like me. But you can also upload your own images, of course. Let's create this guy. All right, so I'm going to leave it as is. I'm just going to say in the additional instructions, follow the instructions provided very closely. That's probably very badly written now to read it back. We need to fetch unresolved missing knowledge, and we need to send missing knowledge report. So they're basically the two abilities this agent's going to need. So let's save changes. Actually, let's go to our web chat settings. So if I start a conversation with this agent right now, it's going to give me these conversation starters. Now, since I'm going to be wanting to test the same thing over and over again, it's quite handy to use a conversation starter to save yourself having to type it every single time you need to sort of do another test. So here I'll just write the prompt that I think we'll need for this job. So please, I keep forgetting the name of these things, but so fetch unresolved missing knowledge. So please fetch unresolved missing knowledge, and then and if any knowledge items are found, send an email report. Okay, that'll do for now. So we'll save that, and we're going to jump into a chat. So at the moment we have the one record one record that is unresolved. So we should get an email with one. Let us go to channels and click here to chat. And then because I already constructed this, I can just click that and we'll see what happens. So it fetched the unresolved missing knowledge items, and then it emailed it to, it emailed the report. Okay, perfect. So let me just pause for a second, and I'll go and grab that email. All right, so I've gone and grabbed the email. Subject missing knowledge in Occamise. Dear team, we have identified unresolved missing knowledge items in Occamise. Below is a list of questions associated with the missing knowledge. What channels does Occamise support? When it was added, and a little link to the conversation, which is handy as well. Because if I'm an administrator and I'm logged in, I can just click on that. So I'll actually click that, and it's going to open me up to the actual conversation with the customer, where the customer asked what channels does Occamise support, and the agent didn't know. So as an administrator, I get a little bit of context about what was being asked, why the agent, and the agent thought it didn't have the answer, which it doesn't, and I can go ahead and add that knowledge and fix the problem. All right, so let us come back. Let's close some of these and sort of see where we're at. So we've tested it once with the fact that there is a record in the table. Let's test it without any records in the table. So let's update this to true now and rerun the test. So again, we come to channels, task guy, and click the button. Doesn't matter how many times I run this, right? As long as I don't mind getting in the emails every time. In this case, of course, we shouldn't get one. So fetch unresolved missing knowledge has come back with nothing. It's then told us that that's what's happened, and therefore it's not going to continue doing the rest of the tasks, which is perfect. All right, and then I would test this again by adding a couple of records. In fact, let's do that quickly. I've been pretty quick, I think. Okay, so let's have a chat with our test agent again. So the test agent is the one that's supposed to log the missing knowledge when it doesn't have answers to questions. And let's create a conversation, and let's ask a question that it shouldn't know the answer to. Can you upload knowledge to Occamise via PDF? And let's just grab ourselves a new record into our missing knowledge here. Great, so assistant's running report missing knowledge. Oop, I just got a notification, there's missing knowledge. Can you upload knowledge to Occamise via PDF? That's great, so everything's worked correctly. So we'll close that down. If we come to our dashboard, we should have an action item as well, which we do. That's awesome. And let's go to our table, missing knowledge, table content. We now have that additional record added. And this one should be actually false as well. All right, so that's perfect. And then let's schedule this. So we go to grab that actual prompt that we tested. And so we've sort of tested this now, and we know it works. So we're going to grab a copy of that. Come to the scheduler, and we're going to create a scheduled task, and we're going to call it missing knowledge check. And we are going to push it to the task guy. And that is the command. So please fetch unresolved missing knowledge, and if any knowledge items are found, send an email report. And then I would specify I want to run that, say, tomorrow at 9. Where is it? What is going on here? 90. Well, that's so weird. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And we want to run it on regular intervals every 1,440 minutes. And we'll run it for whatever. I'll just pick some arbitrary date in the future. Perfect. Save changes and enable the task. Okay, so now if I come back to scheduler, we have this schedule. It's active, and it's going to start tomorrow morning at 9, and it's going to run every single day and doing exactly what we just tested that works. Now, since we're here, we might as well just quickly do one last check. So if I want to check this schedule, what will actually happen at 9 o'clock in the morning, I can click Run Task Now and just watch it all happen again. So let's quickly check that it still works. So it's fetched the unresolved missing knowledge. and it's emailed the report. And I will just pause while I grab that for you. Okay, I actually haven't looked at this yet. Dear team, we have identified unresolved missing knowledge in Occamise. Can you upload knowledge to Occamise via PDF? What channels does Occamise support? Thanks, Team Occamise. So it's doing it perfectly, and now it's going to do that every morning at 9 o'clock. So I guess if you're someone that hasn't actioned this, in the meantime, every morning you're going to be reminded that there's still that missing knowledge. So you need to go and do your job. So hopefully that was a helpful little tutorial, sort of tying together a few more elements of the Occamise solution now. So we've got schedules, we did some actual table retrieval abilities, and we played around with one of those system agents, and those system agents are super cool. All right, hopefully that was useful. Cheers.